Let us start the today's class with the Wien bridge oscillator. The previous classes we started with the oscillator and we studied what is the difference between the oscillator and the amplifier. Normally, the oscillator will be used which configuration? They use the positive feedback configuration. But negative feedback amplifier will be used for to design the amplifiers. So we studied one of the oscillator for positive feedback, that is RC phase shift oscillator. So what we see, we done something like we calculated the gain, like the feedback gain factor is minus 1 by 29. This is what we got. Next, to calculate how much the frequency the RC phase shift oscillator will generate, in the sense the F is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC into root 6. This is the formula to calculate the how much the frequency the RC phase shift will generate. Next, let us see one more thing also. This RC phase shift oscillator will be used for low frequency application. If you want to generate low frequency, that is why especially low frequency, in the sense example we can consider, we used for audio frequency range, that is about 20 hertz to 100 kilohertz. Next, the type of oscillator is Wien bridge oscillator. Especially this Wien bridge oscillator will be used for high frequency applications. If you want to generate more than 100 megahertz, then we can use the Wien bridge oscillator. Now here the practical oscillator will be uses on op-amp and the RC bridge circuits with the oscillator frequency set by R and C components. In the normally in the RG bridge circuit, you might have seen R, C components. Now let us see the figure which shows the Wien bridge oscillator. Note the bridge connection. So here the bridge connection which shows so this is the bridge actually. So where is the bridge actually, in the sense? See here, will show. See, this portion only is nothing but the bridge. Now the bridge connection, the resistor R1 and the R2. See which one? This R1 and this R2, and capacitor C1 and the C2 form the frequency adjustments elements. So I can say this will form the frequency adjustment element. If you want to adjust the frequencies, you need to change the value of this only. You should not change these values. And the resistor R3, which one? This portion, the resistor R3 and the resistor R4 form the part of feedback path. See this. Then here the op-amp is connected as a bridge input at point A. See, this is the point A. You can see this. This is what? Point A, and the point C. This, see. So the point A and the point C will be connected as which one? The operation amplifier output. You can see this output only, it's connected over there. Then the C is connected to ground. Anyway, because the output will be connected, one more terminal will be connected to ground only. So now this is the thing. But next A and C. Next to the bridge circuit, the point B and D. You see the B, and you see this D. B and C, the B is connected to the input of the op-amp, then D also is connected to input of the op-amp. So I can say the bridge circuit outputs at point B. This is the output of B, then D as the input to the operation amplifier. As the operation amplifier has some like VCC plus VCC minus VCC also. Now the output will be a sinusoidal signal. This is the structure of or the basic construction of Wien bridge oscillator using op-amp amplifier. Now what we need to find out the feedback path as like the previous RC we did. What is that? The feedback path. What is the feedback? But the gain is beta, right? Where beta is equal to VF by V naught. I hope you remember this. So now let us do this. From this, what I will do, we'll took only this bridge circuit. That bridge circuit we redrawn this here. You see this? Same circuit only we redrawn here like a R1 C1. See the R1 C1. Yes, the series is connected. That point C1 point is connected to somewhere it's going. Where exactly like okay. So we are not going to take the R3 and the R4. Leave this because here the frequency adjustment is only these two. So we are going to consider only these two only. R1 C1 and the R2 C2 only we are going to consider. See here R1 C1 then R2 C2 R1 C1 R2 C2. See just that only we connected from the point. Which point? This point, the terminal D actually, that only is given to the input of operation amplifier. So that is nothing but will be like your VF actually. This is what the point is VF. Next the input is the one, which is one here, the resistance one in the sense R1, this point and this parallel point. This parallel point means this parallel point. Okay. So those 2 points will be given as inputs. Already we connected the input here. So just you take only the feedback path here. Replace this R plus C. R and C will form as an impedance. So this also is a one impedance. Just we are replacing this. Which one? This R1 and C1 we are replacing as a one impedance, that is Z1. Then this R2 C2, this whole thing we are replacing as Z2. Just the same equivalent diagram here we drawn. So this will be your VF. So this is your VN. Now what I need, use a mesh analysis or using KVL, we have to find out VF by V in. This is what we have to calculate. That is VF by, that is output by, that is output in the sense which output there? Feedback output. VF by Vn we have to calculate. So how we can calculate? Just let us go for the expression. Z1. Z1 is M impedance. So as we know from the RC phase shift circuit, we might have wrote if you are having R and C, that is a reactance. So how we can write that is RC is that means R plus, that is what Z1. Where Z1 is nothing but what? R1 plus 1 by j omega C1. See here, take a reference from the RC phase shift oscillator, how we wrote R1 plus 1 by j omega C1 because both are in series in connection. So only R1 plus 1 by j omega C1. So again, just to do the cross multiplication here, then we'll get the expression as like this. Next Z2. Now take Z2 here, the R2 and C2 is parallel, right? So the R2 and C2 is parallel. So if two elements are parallel, how we can write? That is R2 C2 divided by R2 plus C2 actually. So it will be written like this: R2 parallel with 1 by j omega C2. So if this is parallel means R2 into 1 by j omega C2 divided by R2 plus 1 by j omega C2 if it is parallel. Now we got for Z2 also. Now the Z2 is equal to, again you do the simplification of this, we'll get us R2 by 1 plus j omega R2 C2. Now with the help using this, little bit the complexity will be there to reduce the expression. So just replace the j omega by S in the Z1 and the Z2. So now the Z1 will become as 1 plus S R1 C1 by S C1. Next same for Z2, R2 by 1 plus S R2 C2. So now what we'll do, we have to calculate the I first, because as I said, we have to find out VF by V in, where VF is nothing but, so let us go for here from this figure, VF. See, this VF is nothing but the voltage as per the Ohm's law, IR. Here the impedance is Z. So the current which flows over here is nothing but I actually. So I can say VF is equal to I into Z2. But still, I doesn't know the value of I here. So apply the loop over here, the V in. What is I actually? I is equal to, see, this is what I is equal to V in by Z1 plus Z2. So as per the Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R. So where R actually it doesn't have resistor, it is impedance actually. So now you can check this one, V in divided by both Z1 and Z2, both are in series in connection. So Z1 plus Z2. This is what this I is equal to V in by Z1 plus Z2. So as I said earlier, VF is equal to I into Z2. where I is known. See here, the I already we know. Substitute this I in this expression. Then the VF is equal to Vn into Z2 by Z1 plus Z2 will get. Now what I will do, where beta is equal to VF by Vn. This is known only because the feedback factor beta will be equal to the ratio of feedback voltage by the input voltage VF by Vn. So now the VF is nothing but VF by Vn. VF is the whole thing is VF, right? This whole thing, the Vn into Z2 by Z1 plus Z2 divided by Vn, where Vn will get cancelled. Then finally we'll get the expression as like this. Beta is equal to Z2 by Z1 plus Z2. Now what we'll do, substitute the corresponding value of Z1 and Z2, which we know already. That if you substitute, beta is equal to, we'll get like this. So once you get like this, now again what you do, just you need to rearrange the expression or just to simplify this expression. So finally we'll get like this. Just you have to simplify in this way. After finally simplify this, then what you do, this is in the form of like what you might have wrote the expression, right? You remember 1 plus s a example, okay? Then 1 plus the s square b or a x plus b or bx square plus c is equal to 0. So that kind of expression actually you have to bring up, okay, constant. So now replace the s by j omega. Once you replace the s by j omega, after that what you have to do, you have to simplify the expression, just rationalize the expression to have zero phase shift of the feedback network. Now finally, once you simplify, you may get like this. After simplification, you need to separate the real term and the imaginary term separately. So once you get real term and imaginary term separately, then you have to make the imaginary part must be 0. Imaginary part in the sense this only, which is our imaginary part. This only is our imaginary part. Make it is equal to 0. So omega into R1 C1 plus R2 C2 plus imaginary part means which one under imaginary? See, this whole thing will become as imaginary actually, because numerator the real part is 0, only imaginary part is available. So that you should make that is equal to 0. Once if you make is equal to 0, then what will happen? Omega 1. So one you will get like this. Sorry, this is the real term. First imaginary part must be 0, so consider only the real part. So imaginary part will be 0 in the sense this will be eliminated. So now omega into which one? Omega into 1 minus omega square will be is equal to 0. Then omega is equal to 1 divided by root of R1, R2, C1, C2. Where f is equal to, where omega is equal to what? Omega is equal to 2 pi f. Substitute for omega, then f is equal to 1 by 2 pi root of R1, R2, C1, C2. See now here, so you have to do in this way. Then finally, I get the expression as like this. Now, this is the frequency of the oscillator. Sometimes they may ask in the numerical, you need to find out how much the frequency will generate by Weinberg oscillator. You have to use the formula as this. F is equal to 1 by 2 pi into R1, R2, C1, C2. As I said earlier, the frequency adjustment element is R1, R2, C1, C2. So you can adjust that only. So sensitive arms of deciding factor for the frequency. So now in practice, what I will do now, so consider the R1, R2 both are same value and C1, C2 is same value. So what will happen? R1, R2 will be R, the C1, C2 will be C. Then this expression will be reduced to F is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC. Now, the magnitude of the feedback factor at the resonating frequency is beta is equal to 1 by 9. So now here the positive of beta indicates the phase shift by the feedback network is 0. Now let us satisfy the Barkhausen criterion. What is the Barkhausen criterion actually? The Barkhausen criterion is A beta is equal to 1. That is the Barkhausen criterion. It has to match. So if the beta is 1 by 9 in the sense, then what will be your A? A should be 9. A should be 9, right? So that is what we'll get. So now see A should be greater than 1 by mod of beta. So the beta is nothing but how much? 1 by 9 actually. Then if we take the square root of 9, it becomes as 3. So now finally we'll get as the A value should be greater than 1 by beta should be greater equal to. So I can do simple beta value is 1 by 9, then A value should be 3 actually. So if you use this, then you may get properly the frequencies in the Wien bridge oscillator. Next is 555 timer as a oscillator. There is a one IC is available in electronics 555 timer. From the name only, you can say 555 timer circuit, which will be used for timer circuits. So here the 555 timer is a versatile integrated circuit with many applications. Now in this, just let us see how it is configured as an A-stable or free running multi-vibrator, we can say. So normally, which is essentially a square wave oscillator, which one this will generate a square wave output normally. This is what we can say. 555 timer will generate a square waveform output. Now here, this 555 timer IC has 8 pins. So those 8 pin, each and every pin represents here like the pin number 1 represents or it's a connect. It should be connected to ground. That number 2 should be a trigger. It's a pin is trigger pin. Number 3 is output pin. Number 4 is reset pin. Number 8 is VCC pin, that is a supply voltage. Then number 7 is a discharge pin. Number 6 is threshold pin. Number 5 is control voltage. Here we given some set of the description for each and every pin that you can go through, because later while we study in the elaborately, we'll come to know all those things. But it's only something I will say here. The VCC, as I said earlier, is a positive supply voltage, normally usually between 3 and 15 volt. It depends upon the variation. Which one? This one. VCC will be range from 3 to 15 volt. But next is the output. The output is given approximately 1.7 volt. That is below VCC normally, or to ground. That is the output we'll get. Now let us see what will be internal circuit of this IC. We want to know internally what will be there. Like in the IC, this is the IC actually integrated circuit. The internal circuitry diagram of 555 timer is this. Like this only it will be there. So now in this you may having some 3-4 parts are there. Now we can say normally the 555 timer will be consist of comparators, two comparators. So like one is upper comparator, the another one is lower comparator, and it consists of flip-flop. So about these flip-flops and all, you will study in the next module actually. And one more thing is we are having a discharge transistor we are having. And one more part is nothing but this is the voltage divider. Which one? This one. This portion is nothing but a voltage divider circuit. See here, this is the voltage divider circuit. So now the 555 timer consists of voltage divider, comparator, discharge transistor, the flip-flop, and the output buffer. Now here, this flip-flop is a bistable multi-vibrator. It's a digital device. It's like digital device in the sense a two-state device. It will produce the output as 0 or 1 in the Q. This Q will be given. Which one? This Q only, either 0 or 1. It will. That is why you can call it as two-state device whose output can be at either a high voltage. The case high voltage means 1. That the 1 will be represented as the high voltage. 1 will be represented as set. The 0 will be represented as reset. That is SR. Here we given SR. It is a SR flip-flop. S is set. R means reset. Set means value 1. We are setting the flip-flop. R means we are going to reset the flip-flop. That is 0. The state of the output can be changed with the proper input signals. Now here the resistance voltage divider will be used to set the voltage comparator levels. this one. So now all three transistors are equal values. This transistor RA, RB, RC, all are equal values. We kept as 5 kilo ohm. All the transistors. Therefore, the upper comparator has which one? The upper comparator in the sense this point, not this point. Actually, this is the control voltage. Actually, this point. Okay. Yes. Upper comparator means this point. I'm going to say yes. So in this point, we'll have 2 by 3 because it's a voltage divider. 2 by 3 VCC. Then this point it will have 1 by 3 into VCC. And the lower comparator as reference voltage. This is the reference voltage I'm saying. The reference voltage. Sometimes we may call it as V reference. Reference voltage is 2 by 3 and 1 by 3 VCC. Now here we'll see the comparator output. The comparator which one? This comparator and this comparator. The output controls the state of the flip-flop because this output only is giving as a input. This output only they are giving as a input to flip-flop. So this will control these two comparator will control the output of this flip-flop when the trigger voltage goes. Where is the trigger? You can see this is the trigger actually. When the trigger voltage goes below 1 by 3, then we'll keep it in mind. If it goes below 1 by 3 VCC, the trigger voltage, then the flip-flop sets. So I can say simple, the trigger is, if it is goes less than 1 by 3 VCC, then I can say the output of flip-flop, that is flip-flop will be set. Flip-flop will be set, that is 1 I can say. Output jumps to high level. Same time, if your trigger is greater than 1 by 3, then it's very simple, it will be 0 actually. So the threshold input is normally connected to which one? This threshold. Where is the threshold? You can see this. Yes, this threshold actually. That is connected means normally it is connected to external RC timing circuit. Where this threshold actually it is connected to external RC timing circuit. So when the external capacitor voltage, so because external in the sense it is maybe connected to RC in the sense it will be like this. So this the threshold may be connected to resistor and sometimes may connected to capacitors also. So now when the external capacitor voltage exceeds 2 by 3 voltage, see 2 by 3 into VCC, the upper comparator, which one? This upper comparator will be resets the comparator. Means I can say the threshold voltage. What voltage? This voltage, threshold voltage and the control voltage. You might have remember we already studied the comparator circuit from the operation. So if I get 0 in the sense, what will happen? If the external capacitor voltage exceeds 2 by 3 voltage, your reference voltage is 2 by 3, then the control threshold voltage, if it is exceeds means threshold is greater than reference voltage, then comparator output is 0. If it is less than comparator output is high. This is what we meant to say. So now when the device output is low, device output means which one? Here. If this device output is low, the discharge transistor will be turned on and provides a path for rapid discharge of the external timing capacitor. Now here the basic operation will allow the timer to be configured with the external components. So don't get any confusion here. Just this is I want to say how the internal diagram is there, how this will be operate. But as per for you will be this A stable. This is what is there. So we need to know that to study about this. So only they are given that. So now here the A stable oscillator using IC 555 timer. This is the main the topic actually ours. A stable oscillator using IC 555 timer. You can see here the figure of this is the one of the important question in the examination. They may ask. So now the diagram is this. See, this is the 555 timer. With the 555 timer, along with the pins, they connected some of the components here. That is RA, RB, and C. You can see pin number 7 is connected, pin number 2 is connected, 6 is connected, the 4 is connected, the 3 is connected to output, the pin number 1 and the 5. So like this, the different pins are connected over here. Now you can think normally the input, because it is an oscillator, we doesn't have any more inputs here, but only thing is here it will produce the output. Right. So here it will produce the output in the sense. Now what we need to know here, the one of the popular application of 555 timer IC is a stable multivibrator or clock circuit. Now the following analysis of the operation of the 555 as an stable circuit includes the details of different parts of the unit and how the various inputs and outputs are used. Now let us see in this circuit diagram, as I said, the external resistor and the capacitors to set the timing interval of the output signal. So now notice that the threshold input is now connected to trigger input TRIG, which is the threshold voltage, which pin actually a trigger input. So the trigger is nothing but 2. See, this is the 2 actually. 2 only is nothing but a trigger actually 2. So what about the threshold? The threshold is nothing but 6 actually. See, this is the threshold. Now we can see the trigger and the threshold both are connected here. See, note that the threshold now connected to threshold input. So the external components, the R1, this is the R1 we can say, this is R2 we can say, then this is C, form the timing circuit that sets the frequency of oscillation. Now here we used the capacitor. What is the value of this capacitor? We want to know. The value is 0.01 microfarad. It is very less value of capacitor. It's connected to the control input. Which is the control input? The control input pin is 5. Control voltage is 5. See, sorry, not this. So not this, this one. 0.01 microfarad. See, number 5. This is only is nothing but a control voltage pin. Number 5 actually. The control input is strictly follow the decoupling and has no effects in the operation. Now let us see in this how it will operate. This is the construction actually. The operation, let's see. Now the capacitor C, which one? The C. The capacitor C charges towards VCC through the external resistance, because see here the VCC is connected the resistors RA and RB. What will happen here? The voltage will be required. So let us nothing but this is what I can say. This will be your 2/3 VCC. Then this will be a 1/3 VCC. Earlier we seen. So now here I can say capacitor C, this C, which one? This C charges towards the VCC, because completely from the VCC will go, it will charge through the resistance RA and RB. We see the capacitor voltage rises. See here, this is what the capacitor voltage rises until it goes 2/3 VCC. See this figure, capacitor get charges go up to 2/3 VCC. Now this voltage is the threshold voltage at pin number 6. This is the pin number 6. Here the threshold voltage is pin number 6 here. The voltage will be which drives the comparator 1. In the previous diagram we might have shown comparator 1 to trigger the flip-flop so that the output pin 3 goes low actually. So now that is why here the output pin goes low. So it has gone. See, when the capacitor charges, then automatically I may get high flip-flop. I got. When once it's reached here, it will control, then I may get low. Next is, in addition, the discharge transistors are driven, passing the output at pin 7 to discharge the capacitor. Pin number 7 is this, right? This is the pin number 7. So pin number 7 to discharge the capacitor through RB. So based on this, if what will happen, the your flip-flop output will be 0, then start to discharge. That is what this, when start to discharge, so I may get the square wave as 0 will get. Now the capacitor voltage then decreases. What will happen? Because start it is slowly is getting discharging. So right now we are having 2 by 3 VCC. Then here the capacitor startly is reducing or discharging, we can say. When it is capacitor discharging, decreases until it drops below the trigger level. What is the trigger level here? The trigger level is 1 by 3 VCC. When it goes less than 1 by 3 VCC, then again the flip-flop will be triggered so that output goes back high and the discharge transistor is turned off. So then the capacitor can again charge through transistor, like it will charge again, it will get discharged. So like this, the process will be continuous in this. So that is what I'll show the diagram here. You can see this diagram here. See here. Yes, this is what. This is 1 by 3 VCC. This is a 2 by 3 VCC. See this? Compared to that, when it's charging, will be like this is time 1, time 2, and this is the capacitor voltage. This will be our output voltage. How we can calculate the voltage across the capacitor? The voltage across the capacitor, how we can find out this is VC of t is equal to V final plus V initial minus V final into e power minus t by RC, where this VC of t is nothing but the voltage across the capacitor versus time, where V initial is nothing but is the voltage across the capacitor at time is equal to 0, where V final is the voltage across the capacitor at t is equal to infinity. V final means, so like also maximum is going infinity, I can say. Where R is the resistance of the resistor that is charging the capacitor, where C is the capacitance of capacitor being charged. Now what we'll do at the time t1, we have to calculate rise time and the fall time. It's very, very important. So at the time 1, we have to calculate. Then at time 2, what is we have to calculate? At the time 1, if we say this portion, see, this is what at time 1. It is rising time. We can call this because this is rising time in the sense this is equivalent to, I can write the pulses like this. Normally, this is what pulse actually. So the rising time is this. You have to calculate the rising time of this. So your falling time is this actually. That is we call as TF. So now when the charging time period, here we have to calculate how much time it will take to charge from here to here. So now we let us say at time t1, this one at time t1, the capacitor voltage of RC circuit subjected to step input VCC voltage is given by normally how it will be, where VC is equal to V into 1 minus e to the power minus t by RC. Now at the time t1 taken by the circuit to charge from 0 to 2 by 3 VCC, right? That is nothing but your VC. So now this VC is nothing but, as I said here, this is what the voltage across the capacitor versus time. So it is 2 by 3 VCC. VC is nothing but 2 by 3 VCC, where this V is nothing but VCC into 1 minus T1 by RC. T1 we written. Now what you do, simplify this, we make it 2 by 3 into 1 minus e to the power minus T1 by R1. Now let's take natural logarithm on both the sides. Then you'll get T1 is equal to RC ln 2 by 3, where T1 is equal to 1.09 RC. This is the very, very important relation. This is for rising time. Sometimes they may call us TR, sometimes they may call us tau R. Anything you can write. At time T2 now. At time T2 in the sense what? It's a discharging time actually, right? This is the maximum and this is the minimum. So now you can see for this how to calculate means during the time T2, the circuit charging from 0 to 2 by 3 VCC. So 1 by 3 VCC at time T2 actually, right? 1 by 3 VCC, VCC into 1 minus e to the power minus t by RC. Then simplify this. Again, take the natural logarithm both the sides. Will get us like this. Then finally, we'll get T1 is equal to 0.405 RC. Now, so the time to charge from 1 by 3 VCC to 2 by 3 VCC is the difference actually. T high is equal to T1 minus T2. Now substitute 1.09 RC minus